said there, I'm probably going to repeat, but that's all good. But thanks, God, for that. That was amazing. I'm going to get to thanking Year 12 probably at the end of the speech. But I just want to start. Yeah, my name is Ben Woods. And this journey that I'm on is called Ride for Jase, and it's about my brother. I went to this school. I sat in that very seat you're sitting in there. I listened to people come up and speak here. I played in the Year 12 basketball game against the teachers here. So did Jase, did the same thing. He probably shredded a few teachers out here on the basketball court. He was pretty good at it. Both my elder sisters also went here. And even coming here today, there's so many teachers that are still here that were here when I was at school. And there's also many friends of mine and Jason's that are here today that are actually teachers now at the school. So we've got Mrs. Moonicaw, we've got Miss Beery, Mr. Verbruggen, Mrs. Verbruggen, Mr. Goswell, Mr. Hall, and also, last but not least, Mr. Howarth. Now I want to give a special mention to Mr. Howarth because if it wasn't for Nick, I wouldn't be here today speaking to you all. We had a discussion about it, and it's Nick who made this possible. Speaking to the principal, Mr. Carniato, and also Mr. Feltus about coming here today, and I just want to say how much of an honour it is for me to come back to the school I went to, come back to the school where my brother went to, and to speak to you guys about the journey I'm on and about my brother. So I just want to start with my brother Jase. A few of you might be wondering, what is Ride for Jase about? You can see the logo and the symbol up there. So a little bit about Jase. This is Jase here. Now Jase was very talented. He was an amazing cricketer, soccer player. He was a table tennis guru. He was a surfer. He's a dancer. He's a master on the basketball court, as I spoke about. Now, Jase once told me when he was about 10 years old, a bit of a funny story, we're out the front of our house in Boambi that is talking about his talent, that he once got swooped by a magpie. And in the same motion, he said to me that he ducked, he turned and he punched that magpie in the head. Now, I don't know anyone that's ever done that. I mean, I've never done it myself, and I still don't really believe it, but I have to take his word for it. He's also very spontaneous. Having a barbecue at our house in Tormina, we had a pool in the front yard at my sister's 21st. A mate turns to me halfway through the night and he says, "Do you know where Jase is?" And then it was almost in the same instance. We were standing there, just having a bite to eat, and then here's Jase jumping from the rooftop. Now, don't condone this. Naked, over the top, like a scene out of Free Willy, excuse the pun, and just lands in the pool and splashes everyone. That's the type of joker Jase was. He was cheeky as well. Now this is a bit of a grown-up game, but a washed-out game of soccer. We played soccer in Sydney for a team in Manly, and when we have a washed-out game every year, we do a thing called fridge to fridge. And we start at a local pub, and we drink 7 beers running down a hill. It's a bit stupid. We stop at each mate's house, sculling that beer, and it's a race to get to the bottom. Now every year it's a dress-up theme. And Jase's first year, he rocks up there. He decides to wear nothing but elastoplast on his bits, a see-through raincoat, and a hat with a flap on it. So you can imagine when he's running past the local shops, the looks on the mums and dads' faces when he came past. But on top of all this, Jase was very caring. I had 2 separate mates from football come up and tell me that when they first joined the club, Jase was the first person that came up to them and said to them, "Hello, my name's Jase, who are you?" and welcome them to the team. And what can be very confronting, as you would know, coming into a team or coming into a school or a class or anything like that where you don't know everyone in there and everyone seems to already be in a tight-knit group. Jase was the person that invited them in, said hello, and he stood by them when they felt left alone. He was very loving. Right up to and including the day Jase passed, my brother told me he loved me. And I told him that back. We always had that, and we always will. So as you can imagine, when I got that phone call on the 17th of November 2015, with the news that my brother took his own life, my world shattered. It was 2 months out from my wedding, and Jase was going to be my best man. We're meant to travel the world together, travel Australia together. We're meant to live in the same town. We're meant to have families and grow old together. He was only 29 years old when he took his own life, and he still had so much life to give. Now, before Jase passed, we often talked about travelling around Australia together. It gave me something to look forward to and great hope. After Jase passed, I realised this dream is still possible. And it was at Jason's wake where I looked around the room, and so many people in the room didn't know the battles that Jase went through. And I could see an energy that they had, that they didn't get to give to Jase. He touched so many people in his life. And I thought we need to use this energy. They didn't know what Jase was going through, that I knew what Jase went through. Jase couldn't express it in himself, what he was going through. They had so much love for Jase, and I know that if they had known what he was going through, they would have been by his side in an instant. So to use this energy, I realised we could harness it, grab it, and maybe we could help save someone else. Maybe we could change someone else's life. So I made the decision to do something what people might consider impossible. I would embark on an 18,000 kilometre journey around Australia over 6 months in memory of Jase, taking his ashes with me, and I would do it all on my push bike. This means I would need to ride about 150 kilometres a day, which is about 6 hours every day. So to put this into perspective, just imagine this. You get here first thing in the morning, and when you get to homeroom, you jump on your bike, and you don't stop pedalling till that school bell goes at the end of the day. Then you do that 5-6 times a week, and you do that for 6 months. That's what this journey is. So for me, I started this 4 days ago. I got on my bike in Sydney, and as you can see up on the map there, we rode from Sydney to Newcastle on the first day, 175 kilometres. Then I rode from Newcastle up to Foster. That was about another 150. Then from Foster on to Bonnie Hills, just near Port Macquarie. That was just over 100. And then yesterday, I arrived here in Sawtell, leaving yesterday morning at 6 o'clock, arriving at about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, riding another 175 kilometres. Now, this is just the start of the journey, as you can see up there. But the ride for Jase will pass through every state and country, every state and territory in Australia, and we're visiting the 4 points of the compass. So the most east, the most north, in the centre Uluru, the most west and the most south. Because I thought if I'm going to show Jase this country, I'm going to show it all to him. However, the aim for, and with this journey going through to all these places, if and when completed, it will achieve a Guinness World Record. And that is for the longest journey by bicycle in a single country. However, the aim of the ride for Jase is not just about world records. It's about spreading the word on mental health, getting out to the communities and around the country and raising funds for the Black Dog Institute. This is the other logo you can see down here. Now, the Black Dog Institute are world leaders in the diagnosis, prevention and treatment of mood disorders such as depression and bipolar disorder. They want to see a world where physical illness, so let's say breaking a leg, breaking an arm, anything like that, they want to see a world where that's treated with the same concerns, the same immediacy and the same treatment and seriousness that any physical illness is treated. So mental illness is treated with the same concerns as any physical illness is treated. So what is depression? I want to show you a short video that makes it a little easier to maybe understand what depression is.
His name was Depression. Whenever the black dog made an appearance, I felt empty and life just seemed to slow down. He could surprise me with a visit for no reason or occasion. The black dog made me look and feel older than my years. When the rest of the world seemed to be enjoying life, I could only see it through the black dog. Activities that usually brought me pleasure suddenly ceased to. He liked to ruin my appetite. He chewed up my memory and my ability to concentrate. Doing anything or going anywhere with the black dog required superhuman strength. At social occasions, he'd sniff out what confidence I had and chase it away. My biggest fear was being found out. I worried that people would judge me. Because of the shame and stigma of the black dog, I was constantly worried that I'd be found out. So I invested vast amounts of energy into covering him up. Keeping up an emotional lie is exhausting. Black Dog could make me think and say negative things. He could make me irritable and difficult to be around. He would take my love and bury my intimacy. He loved nothing more than to wake me up with highly repetitive and negative thinking. He also liked to remind me how exhausted I was going to be the next day. Having a black dog in your life isn't so much about feeling a bit down, sad or blue. At its worst, it's about being devoid of feeling altogether. As I got older, the black dog got bigger and he started hanging around all the time. I chased him off with whatever I thought might send him running. But more often than not, he'd come out on top. Going down became easier than getting up again. So I became rather good at self-medication, which never really helped. Eventually, I felt totally isolated from everything and everyone. The black dog had finally succeeded in hijacking my life. When you lose all joy in life, you can begin to question what the point of it is. Thankfully, this was the time that I sought professional help. This was my first step towards recovery and a major turning point in my life. I learned that it doesn't matter who you are, the black dog affects millions and millions of people. It is an equal opportunity mongrel. I also learned that there was no silver bullet or magic pill. Medication can help some, and others might need a different approach altogether. I also learned that being emotionally genuine and authentic to those who are close to you can be an absolute game changer. Most importantly, I learned not to be afraid of the black dog, and I taught him a few new tricks of my own. The more tired and stressed you are, the louder he barks. So it's important to learn how to quiet your mind. It's been clinically proven that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mild to moderate depression as antidepressants. So go for a walk or a run and leave them up behind. Keep a mood journal. Getting your thoughts on paper can be cathartic and often insightful. Also keep track of the things that you have to be grateful for. The most important thing to remember is that no matter how bad it gets, if you take the right steps, talk to the right people, black dog days can and will pass. I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for the black dog, but he's been an incredible teacher. He forced me to reevaluate and simplify my life. I learnt that rather than running away from my problems, it's better to embrace them. The black dog may always be part of my life, but he'll never be the beast that he was. We have an understanding. I've learned through knowledge, patience, discipline and humour, the worst black dog can be made to heal. If you're in difficulty, never be afraid to ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life.
So it's a great video there, and it talks about what depression is, and very go to the next one. Very serious point at the end there is where can you seek help? And this is very important. That it can seem very daunting to take that first step to seeking support. But there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot available to you students here. You can start by just telling a mate, telling a schoolmate, someone that you hang out with all the time. You can tell your parents at home. But you've got all these amazing teachers here as well that you can talk to. And you also have a school counsellor at John Paul College, Mrs. Sketcher. Mrs. Sketcher might be out there in the crowd. She's over there. Now, Mrs. Sketcher's school counsellor, they're trained in talking about mental health. So please feel free to go and talk to any of your teachers, your parents, your mates, Mrs. Sketcher. I know myself, I go and see a counsellor, similar to Mrs. Sketcher, and I talk about what it was like losing my brother. But I also talk about things in my life that perhaps caught up on me mentally, and I didn't address straight away. So it's okay to talk about that. It's okay to be emotional about it. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be a man and cry about it. It's okay to talk to a mate about it. You put your hand up. There's no shame in doing that. Now, it doesn't just need to be a face-to-face conversation. If you're not up for doing that, you can make a phone call. You could send an email to one of your teachers, or even just send a text. Just anything to start that conversation. There's also a lot of fantastic support networks out there online. I'll just show you a few. So you can see up here on the screen, you can go to any one of these websites. They've got Headspace, reachout.com, Kids Helpline, Bite Back. These are great ways for you to know that you are not alone in what you're going through. And these things can help you get to the next step. So the Ride for Jase, it's just not, as I spoke about, it's just not about me cycling on my bike for 6 hours every day. It's about getting to people, getting out in the communities and talking more openly about mental health and not waiting till things get bad. It's about having that conversation. So if riding my bike around Australia and sharing my story could save someone else's life, then it will be all worth it. Because if someone told me that I could jump on this bike and I could travel around Australia and I could save my brother, I would have done it in a heartbeat. This is about sharing my story and hope it encourages other people to share their story. And I don't want to see another person to have to go through what my brother went through. I don't want anyone else to lose another loved one to depression, whether it be a mother, a father, a sister, an uncle, an auntie, a best mate, or a brother. I have an amazing support network. I have an amazing people coming on the journey. I've got my mum, her partner Lance, my dad, and my number one supporter, my wife Kat. She's driving the camper van as we go around the country. And lastly, I just want to say a very special thank you to you all for having me here, but especially to the Year 12 students for choosing Ride for Jase as their chosen charity. This means so much to not only myself, but to also the rest of the team that we have. And so I thank you very much for your attention here today, guys.
Sharing your stories and passion towards the Black Dog Institute and its cause. And we're so grateful that you're undertaking this challenge for such a worthy cause, and we can't wait to follow you on your journey. Best wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.